Violent protests against coronavirus curfews flared up across Africa this week, while schools and businesses in certain nations tentatively began reopening their doors. Meanwhile, South Africa delayed the opening of schools in much of the country by a week, owing to fears over inadequate protective equipment. Police and protesters clashed in Madagascar as citizens demonstrated in the major economic city of Toamasina, denouncing the coronavirus lockdown measures. Restrictions have gradually lifted in other cities, but residents here remain under confinement. Madagascar has so far recorded some 900 cases of coronavirus, including 6 deaths, all of which have occurred in the city of Toamasina.
People must respect the measures taken by the state, and then things will work themselves out. But the police are severe and they scare people. That's why people are extremely angry.
Violent demonstrations also took place in several cities in Senegal, including the capital Dakar, with protesters rallying against the nighttime curfew that was introduced in March. In response, the government has announced an easing of the curfew, which now begins at 11 p.m. rather than 9.
We're fed up with this curfew, and because we're not working, life is too hard now.
Universities and high schools in Tanzania have reopened despite a lack of clarity on the spread of the virus after the government stopped updating figures in April. Students crowded into lecture halls at the University of Dar es Salaam, which has introduced some hygiene measures, such as new hand-washing stations on its campus. While some students are glad of the return and are keen to pursue their studies, others are more sceptical.
Despite our government opening high schools and universities, I urge the authorities to make sure they do a close follow-up with all universities to make sure both students and the administration are respecting COVID-19 prevention measures, so that we are able to win the battle against the virus.
Cameroon's schools and universities also reopened as the government weathers criticism of weak measures to stop the spread of the virus in one of the worst affected countries in sub-Saharan Africa. And in Cape Town, protests took place against the reopening of schools, a week earlier than in the rest of South Africa. Teachers' unions and the South African Human Rights Commission secured the postponement of the start of the school year in most of the country, given the lack of protective equipment in many schools. But despite official instructions, schools reopened on Monday morning in the opposition-led Cape Town.
The headaches I had were intense. I had to take pain medication in the mornings and again in the afternoons. It wasn't a nice experience. I also don't think it will be nice for children to experience something like this. The back pain was also there, so it won't be nice for children if it hurts as an adult. It won't be nice for a child to experience it.
Special precautions also took place at a Muslim burial service in Cape Town, with participants wearing protective masks, overalls and gloves.